I'm here with Ebrahim Moosa, professor of Islamic Studies in the Kroc Institute for International Peace Studies and in Notre Dame's Department of History. He is also a senior faculty member in the Keough School of Global Affairs, helping to lead the school's new initiative in global religion and human development. Dr. Moosa co-directs Contending Modernities, the global research and education initiative examining the interaction among Catholic, Muslim, and other religious and secular forces in the world. Dr. Moosa, welcome to Notre Dame Day.
Thank you for having me, Jack.
You came here with a very established reputation as a scholar in the area of Islamic thought and Muslim societies. How did you make the decision that what we think is the world's leading Catholic institution would be your next home?
Well, I think the decision became easier once I knew that under the leadership of President John Jenkins and Provost Tom Burrish, and also under the able leadership of Dean Scott Appleby, that Notre Dame is going to become one of the premier places for the study of global religion. That made my decision much more easier, because one of the things I've been looking for is to have a place where Islam and other religions can be taught in a way that can make an impact in the world, where we can have transformative agendas. As you know, the world today is confronted with all kinds of conflicts where religion plays a central role, and Notre Dame has identified religion as one of those very crucial factors that needs to be studied and that will be able to bring about a certain amount of transformation and change and peace in our world.
And not just at a Catholic institution, but really at any institution in America right now, because let's be honest, when many think of the Muslim religion, the Islamic religion, in America, they are thinking terrorism. And again, it's a small group that have really messed up the interpretation of what the Quran really says. But what can you do to help explain to people that those two things do not necessarily go together?
Well, there are several things. You know, one is that Islam on a global stage and on a global scale in many, many societies, where you have societies that have poor governance, there are failing states, failing economies, and in those kinds of societies, religion becomes pathological. So religion has to give all the answers to all the problems when it cannot give all the answers. So religion becomes a mobilizing tool. And so one of the ways that we begin to think about this question at the Keough School of Global Affairs is to begin thinking, you know, what are the resources required in certain places in different parts of the world that can bring religion back to its proper place, that religion can do the work of nurturing the soul, by nurturing character, by creating harmony in the world. So one of the many things that we need to address is the fact that there are also problems within Islam itself. In other words, Muslim Orthodox religious leadership need to develop new kinds of skills to deal with the very complex world in which they are living. And unfortunately, those religious traditionalists have not stepped up to the game. And therefore, all kinds of other interpretations of Islam have become opportunistic, and they are committing the high levels of violence. People like Bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, and other people are doing the violence in the name of Islam. And of course, the question is, who are the adults in the Islamic home, right? That's the big question. So who are the people who are going to stand up to these forces? That is one of the biggest challenges that we face.
Many of the folks watching us right now are familiar with the long Catholic tradition of scholarship and intellectual thought, but there is also a long Islamic tradition of the same thing. Could you talk about some of the impacts that Islamic scholarship has had through the centuries?
Well, you know, if you go back to one of the people I studied who died in 1111, his name is Al-Ghazali. Al-Ghazali was in Baghdad. He wrote a lot about philosophy and logic, and then his works were read by Thomas Aquinas, a great Catholic theologian. And so, you know, ideas about science and mathematics from the Islamic world spread to the West, and there was great harmony and intellectual exchange at that time. And I think we have come to a time in world history where we need to begin talking about the harmony and the alliance of civilizations and how we can reinforce each other and bring about the good. And I think Notre Dame's Keough School is, you know, pointed to that challenge, and I think we will achieve it out here.
Dr. Moosa, thanks for giving us the time, and thank you for being here at Notre Dame.
Thank you.